I would like to talk about divorce for Christians. Can Christians get divorced? I want to talk about that. Okay. The Bible says God hates divorce. Yes, the Bible says that. Okay. What I notice is people seem to put emphasis on divorce because God said He hates it. But to put everything in context, though, does God hate divorce, but He loves fighting in the couple? Did you hear what I just said? He said God hate divorce. And people don't just wake up one day, Danny, oh, sweetie, honey, lovey, everything good, and the divorce. Some stuff lead to the divorce, right? If God hate divorce, and that's why people want to use, oh, God hate divorce. Does God love fighting and argument? One of the big things that divide couple where they talk about divorcing each other. Does God hate hating each other, hating each other? You know, when you're a couple and you are not compatible, you don't understand each other, you can end up hating each other, disliking each other. Does God love that? So, my thing is, does God love stealing? This one is not necessarily about a couples, but does God love fornicating? Does God love adultery? Does God love idolatry? I mean, people, come on. What I'm saying is, what is so hard about the divorce that we want to act as if God put that sin of divorce on a high pedestal or the sin are less? That means we don't understand the Bible. The Bible says God hate divorce, but God hate every sin. That's the first point I want to make. God hate every sin. And like I'm saying, nobody in their right mind, number one, you need to be mature before you get married anyway. Mature in age and mature in your mind, and hopefully mature spiritually too before you get married. Especially as a Christian, you don't just get even in the society, they don't allow anybody to marry at any age. There's an age. What they believe at that age, you are mature enough to get into that relationship. You can be 14 and say you want to get married. In most states, well, at least in America, in Europe, there's an age. Sometimes it's 17, sometimes it depends on every state, but they have the reason that when you are that age, you are ready, you have the maturity to get into a relationship. So only mature people get married. So nobody mature, nobody who care for their wife or husband and have good reason to decide to live with them will just willy-nilly want a divorce. In other words, I'm saying it's something that brings the divorce. Do we try to understand that? That people don't just divorce out of nowhere. You know the pain of divorce? The divorcing and the toll on the children, if there are children between them, or even if there are no children between them, the toll, the negative effect on the divorce on the woman and the married, their relationship, they hate each other most of the time. You will see people who say, "Yeah, me and my ex, we still friends, you still friends, but you can't walk it together to stay together. You just divorce." What I'm saying is, we have to understand how divorce come. By the way, most churches that are very hard on divorce, they are not hard on teaching how to keep the family together. Do you know that? Most churches that are hard on divorce, they have not helped the couple under them, going to church for years under them, how to be together, how to resolve conflict, how to resolve argument, how to see the point of view of your partner. They don't teach a whole lot about that. But then when people are ready to divorce because they don't see any other alternative, they are ready to condemn them, to tell them that God hates divorce. Yes, God hates divorce, I agree. But what brings the divorce? What is causing the divorce? Do we look into that? Two people who are Christians, because I assume you are Christian before you got married. You got married, and then divorce is, God doesn't approve divorce, and you just want to do it. They want to do it because something is not happening well. Some problem bring that. And they figure out that rather than them killing each other, they want to go their separate way. Or rather than them being in a relationship, and it's very frustrating, causing even sickness on both of them, because the relationship you just felt like you were with a stranger. Daily is a problem. Everything, every domain of their life is a problem. That's when they feel like divorcing each other. So people don't just divorce anyhow. That's what we have to understand first. By the way, anyway, the people who are together, people who are married, who are together, do you know most of couples, after 5 years, the relationship turn into just like a roommate thing, meaning the love and all that is no longer there. And do you know that many people who are married and are not divorced, many of them live as if they are divorced, or they just live there. There's no intimacy, or there's no closeness anymore. So the people who are divorced, they have the paper. They went their separate ways. One living here, the other living in another place. They are the one we want to blame. Whereas some people are still together, but their life together is worse than being divorced. Have you ever had closeness to some people who are married, but the way their relationship go, the way they live together, you are like, man, please go divorce yourself. Go your separate way. Because you figure out that the way they live together is so horrible. They should not be in that situation. It's sickening. So you are married and you are together. You have the right to tell the other people that God hate divorce, and the divorce, they did it wrong. But you who are married, your life is no better. Your couple is together, but it's like you are divorced. Have you ever thought of that? Or it's just the person who got the paper and they're living separately? Those are the only ones. In other words, to be married is not easy. It's hard. He came from a different culture. You came from another culture. The person has developed a personality all their life. Either they are 25 or 35 or 45 or whatever. They have developed a personality, a way of life of them. You develop another personality and you come together. It is not easy. It is not easy. So, God hate divorce, yes. But God hate all the bad behavior that shouldn't be in a couple, but we exemplify. God hate that too, the same way. So don't think because God hate divorce, you're not divorced, but the way you treat each other is horrible, horrible, horrible. It's even worse than if God could tell you, God would say, please divorce yourself rather than doing that to your wife or to your husband. What you think about your husband, what you think about your wife, to the point where some even desire the other partner to die. Or some desire that when he leaves, he will have a horrible accident and be paralyzed and be useless. Or some wish that the person lose their job, something bad happening to them, they get arrested. But you are married. And you want to tell me you are better than the people who divorce? No. All I'm telling you is the problem of sin, it encompasses all of us. You divorce, yes, divorce is a sin. But when you are in a couple too, and you are not playing your part, or both of you are not playing your part, and the relationship is so horrible, the children are afraid to get married. The children are even saying they're not going to get married because of what they are seeing from you. Are you better than the people who divorce themselves? Let's talk Bible now. You guys say God hate divorce. Yeah, God hate divorce is in the Bible. But God like your way, your selfish ways. God like your argument like crazy, like you're about to kill each other. God like the selfishness that plague your marriage. The Bible said, Moses said, uh, Jesus was repeating Moses, and Jesus said, it's because of the wickedness of your heart that Moses prescribed you to get a divorce. But in the beginning, it was not so. Sorry, I said 5 minutes, but it's more than 10 minutes already. Sorry. So Jesus told the Pharisees who were questioning him that in the beginning, God didn't want people to divorce. But because of the wickedness of your heart, Moses prescribed that people can divorce. Did you hear that? Let me explain it. So there shouldn't be divorce. You marry for a lifetime, right? Like we know. Most people say. Not everybody's saying it anymore. We married, I say, they don't even say till I've do us apart forever and all that anymore. Okay. But Moses realized that people are together, their life is a living hell. And the man and the woman are together, we say, oh, they should live together forever, but people are exemplifying behavior that are made in hell. The wickedness towards each other or one towards the other, because sometimes two mistreating each other, being terrible, devilish to the other, and sometimes it's one. This one want to be good, and the other one is just taking advantage of her goodness or his goodness. So much that the one being good is miserable too. The one creating a misery is also miserable. So Moses said, hey, this is not what God intended, man. Did you hear what I said? God didn't intend you just to be together for the heck of it. If you are together, but you can't live godly, you can't exemplify godly behavior, care about each other, the two shall become one, the Bible says. Meaning you should understand each other. You should tolerate each other. You should help each other out. You should have the best interest of each other. That's what God called marriage. If you don't have that, and all you want to say you shouldn't divorce, is the way you are living so horribly, everything is so stressful, and everything is how God wanted you to live. See, we don't look at that. What caused the divorce? When God said you shouldn't divorce, how did God intend people to live together without divorce? We don't have that most of the time. The life of God. The Bible says treat your neighbor as yourself. If you treat your husband as a woman as you want to be treated, if the husband treat the wife as he want to be treated, vice versa, there won't be any problem. If they both fear God, before I take advantage of my wife, before I take advantage of my husband, before I lie on him, before I lie on her, before I curse her out, say bad word to her, before I neglect what I'm supposed to be doing, to put a burden on him, put a burden on her, if I fear God, and I know God wants us to live together forever, and I have to treat the person right, and I stop doing all that, you will not need a divorce. That's why Moses said, because of the wickedness of your heart, you can divorce. So Moses said, if there's wickedness of the heart, where somebody will die, where you are living together, but the life together is not being positive, it's not being spiritually productive, it's not being socially productive, your life together is full of argument and fight and disagreement and trouble all the time, Moses said, you can divorce. Although God didn't intend a marriage to end, it's supposed to be for a lifetime. But Moses said, you can divorce. Oh, you didn't read that one, do you? You just believe God hates divorce. But Moses said, if you both cannot behave well to live as godly. Remember, it's God who instituted divorce now. It's not society. God created marriage. So God said, if you cannot behave godly in the marriage, behave caring for each other, helping each other. I didn't put you together to devour each other, to destroy each other. And in all aspects now, not just in one aspect. Because I know somebody will say, oh, I'm the one paying the bill, so I can talk to you anyhow. Or someone can say, oh, I'm doing this, so I can do this. I need you a favor to marry you, so I can behave like this. That's not godly. So something brings the divorce. And churches need to focus on helping couples to stay together by preaching practical way to solve problems, practical way to show your spouse you love them, practical way to show the other person how you care for them, so the person doesn't get tempted to go outside, or the person doesn't get frustrated and think about divorce. Nobody think about divorce overnight like that. It's something that build up to it. So we need to be teaching that very well. And I bet you, if you have a church of 100 people and you have maybe once a month, you take a subject and cover it, how to treat your wife, you give examples based on your culture, based on where you are. Because example in Africa might be different than an example in Europe or whatever. Say, for example, your husband does this. What would you do? Your wife does it. What would you do? And you give them practical way to handle things. Because most people who have problems, because they don't know how to treat it better, how to handle the situations. And they end up getting a divorce. So Moses said, for the wickedness of your heart, you can divorce. I'm not encouraging divorce, but don't kill it. Don't die because of divorce. I remember a Nigerian singer called Osinachi who died because the husband was abusing her, man, and she died. Beautiful woman and beautiful talent. She didn't explore the talent much, but people know she is a big talent that can sing at many crusades, big places, and she haven't got there, but she died because she didn't believe in divorce. But Moses said, for the wickedness of your heart, they said the husband will even tell one of her sons, the woman child, the older one, to beat her too when there's something. He beat her, he would tell one of the sons to beat her too. She's working, the man is not working. She work, the man take the money and spend it how he want and just give her a little allowance. The man wasn't working. That's wickedness of the heart. You want to tell me those people shouldn't divorce too? So now that the woman died, the husband killed the woman, what will you say to that? You will say that is the will of God that that woman should die? Come on, people. See, the Bible is deep. You can use one verse and just dwell on it anyhow. Like I was saying in another video earlier today, you have to be in the context of the Bible. Yes, God wants people to live long together and caring for each other, love each other. But when that is not happening, you are devouring each other. All the behavior in the house is ungodly, it's devilish. And God will want you to stay together like that, continue displaying the ungodliness and the devilish behavior? No. That's what Moses said, for the wickedness of your heart, divorce, rather than killing each other. It's not me, it's Moses who said it. Again, I'm saying, I'm not telling anybody to rush and divorce. You have to, if you mature anyway, you have to do everything to do your best. You have to compromise, go the extra mile for the other person. But one person does not make a marriage, people. One person does not make a marriage. You will die in the process. It takes both of the people to do their part. I'm not going to say they will do their part half and half. No, not necessarily. But can you come up at least 40% when the other is coming 60%. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about everything. If you can, let's say you cannot cook. Okay, you cannot cook, which is a minus. What else can you do where when the other person is cooking, the other person does not feel bad for cooking for you when you're supposed to be cooking, for example? Or you don't like cleaning. You just don't like it. And if you do it bad. And the other person have to do it right because somebody have to do it among two of you. Another person is doing it. What do you find to do that that person doesn't like doing or doesn't have time doing so the person can feel good? Do you hear what I just said? That's a big secret right there. I don't like cooking. The other person have to cook, right? Okay, let's say you're supposed to cook half, let's say. And I don't like cooking. So the other person have to cook entirely. Cook the half that he has to do, or the half she has to do, and do my half. So the other person do 100% of the cooking. Do I just sit around and say, oh yeah, I don't like doing it, he's doing it, that's it? No. That person will get tired one day. You know why? Because he knows he's supposed to do half, but he's doing 100. If you just sit around not finding something that you can do to cover him too in another domain, that person will be tired one day. And that's when divorce idea begin to come in. A good couple is, this one does this for, if the man does this for the woman should be like, oh, he did that for me. What can I do for him? The woman should be like, oh, he did this for me. What can I do for him? The woman does something good for the man. You should be thinking what you can do for her too. And you have to be doing that continually. I'm not talking about buying something expensive necessarily. I'm not talking about something big beyond your budget necessarily. Because most couple problem, it's not big thing, it's small things. The way you talk to me, you don't do this for me, you don't help me like this, you let me do it by myself. You just want your way and all that. Those are the things that destroy marriage. Of course, money can be a problem too, sex and all that, yeah. But you have to think, okay, he's doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not helping in that domain. What else can I also do so when he's doing that thing 100%, he does not feel bad? Because me too, I find this other thing we need to be doing and I'm doing it 100%. If you do that, how would the person be tired of you? How? Or if you analyze many aspects of your life, who is doing this? Who is doing that? Who is doing this? Who is doing that? And then you just don't care about trying to measure up somehow. Again, I'm not saying they're going to be 50-50. Or you just feel like, yeah, he does it, and I don't have to do it. That's not love. That's what some people say, and it get on my nerves. I remember a lady I used to work with a long time ago when I was in the military. Her boyfriend, they were not married, but they love each other. I thought they would get married. I don't even know if they get married finally. The boyfriend would bring her flowers at work, and she would show us and all that, yeah, all this display. But then I asked her, okay, so all these flowers be bringing you, what do you give him in return? Do you ask, what do you give him? Because the boyfriend came to work to give the flower. We all seeing it. So I'm like, okay, what do you do for him? You know what she told me? I was expecting her to say, oh yeah, I cook his favorite meal. The other day I took him out, or he like this sandwich. I want to buy for him. I was expecting something like that. Not necessarily that, oh, she said sex or anything, none. Just to have an idea. She said, oh, just the fact that he be giving me flower, that doesn't mean I had to do anything for him. That lady is wrong. It's wrong. It's not the person giving you the flower or whatever doesn't have to demand that you give something back to him or her. But if you are a good spouse here, I'm using literally a husband and a wife, I believe a man and a woman, not two women, not two men. But what I'm saying is when the other person does something, the husband does something or the wife does something the other partner should think of also doing something. You're supposed to sweep the floor, and you didn't. It was your job to sweep the floor. You didn't. And then the other person sweep the floor for you. Do you just take it and say, oh, yeah, he did it, yeah, whatever? Can you also find something that the other person's supposed to be doing and you also do it for the person? Because if you live like that, you will never be tired of each other. Even if you have flaws, you have things you don't like doing or some struggle, it will not be a problem. As a matter of fact, that's how you live everywhere. Sometimes I feel like people don't know how to even live with a roommate or in your family or whatever. Some people don't know that. Me, I try to, everywhere I live, like roommate or what, I didn't have roommating and all that much, but I will make sure I'm not a burden to the person. In the sense that, when the person does something for me, I will make sure I do something back to the person. That's how I live. That's how I live. Why? Because I don't want the person to feel me as a burden, to feel like I'm a burden to them. Where what I'm supposed to do, the person does it for me, and I just sit there and enjoy it without doing anything for them. Again, I'm not saying you have to be equal, but you have to try, man, where the difference is not clear, because when the difference is clear, that's when one person gets tired and say, you know what, I can't be in this relationship anymore. That's basic, man, but people don't know it. So Moses said, because of the wickedness of your heart, you can divorce, so you don't kill each other. So remove the wickedness, there will be love, and you can stay longer together. You don't even want the person to die. You want to live forever with the person. But if there's wickedness with the heart, you want the other person to die so you can go find somebody else. As if you find somebody else, it will be a solution. You still have to deal with something else. So the wickedness is what destroys marriages. Let's remove it. Let's teach people to live without wickedness. According to the word of Moses, Moses is saying the cause of divorce is wickedness. When you are wicked and it's destroying each other, get a divorce rather than killing each other. Again, I'm saying, I'm not advertising, just jump out in divorce. You have to do your best. Get counseling, try your best. You have to live in such a way that if you divorce, right, either you are the woman or the man, let the other person miss you in a way that the way you treat them, let it be hard for that person to find somebody like that again. And you don't have to have money to do that. You don't have to be rich. But because when it boils down, you have a car, either the car costs 20,000 or 5,000 is a car. The way you treat each other, the way you when the person needs you, the way you spend time with the person, the way you consider their needs, the way you balance things out, that's what make or break marriages. And also, my other point is, the Bible says, can two work together except they agree? In other words, two people cannot work together if they are not in agreement. Two people cannot work together if they are not in agreement. We want to work together. I have a marker in my hand here. We want to put this marker together. I want to put it here like that. You want to turn it this way. Or I want to put it here like that to cover the point of the marker, right? So it doesn't dry out. You want to put it that way. Or what do you want to put it? Like that? It will not work. It will not work. In order for us to work together, we have to agree on some principles. How are we going to do this? You can put this marker here, it fits, but that's not the right way. Because this side will dry. This is the side that needs to be covered. Or you want to, what? There is a little thing here on the cover. You want to hook it to the front? I don't know. So if we don't agree that this is where it should go and it should end up like that, we will be arguing forever. So when two people cannot agree, they want to work together, they cannot agree. It's always disagreement. Nobody want to listen to the other continuously, where it become stressful and sickening. It will even begin to affect the children. Mommy and daddy fighting all the time. Mommy said go left. Daddy said go right. Sorry, I didn't mean this message to be long. How many minutes are 30? Sorry. So the Bible says, except they agree. When some people 10 years together, they just don't agree. They don't get to agree with anything. Anything you ask them to do, you can tell them to go to the store and come back. This one will say, let's take this road. That one will say, let's take that road. And they'll start arguing over that. You go to the store, this person will say, let's walk this way in the aisle to buy the thing we want to buy. The other person will say, let's walk the other one. There is a line. This one will say, no, there's too many lines. Let's go to another store. The other person will say, we should wait there. Some people just will not agree. You wonder how they even find each other and were able to get married in the first place. In those cases, should they stay together because they got hate divorce? They are hurting each other. They live in the house. Everybody live in a separate room, or they live together, but there's no closeness. There's no sweetness. I know some couple when they leave work, they don't want to go home. I knew a man. He was a pastor. Him and his wife, the problem is so high that when he leave church, he will go to the store, he will go somewhere and go to bed, to go home in the evening. Because he said if he go home earlier and spend hours before he sleep, it will be argument, it will be problem. So he preferred to go other places until it's late. He just go home and eat and sleep. Because he don't want to spend time with his wife. Because he's just so bad like that. You want to tell me those people should stay together? Again, I'm not saying that you argue a few times over a few things and you should just think about divorce. No. But I'm just putting analysis in front of you. So you can see. They try, it's just not working. So the consideration of divorce. Is it so bad where you just think God hate divorce, so people should not divorce? Remember, divorce is a sin. One sin. Just like lying or whatever it is. So if you be fighting, 1 minute, I'm coming. If you be fighting every day, you fight 2-3 times a day. You hate each other 2-3 times a day. You refusing to divorce because God hate divorce, but daily you are doing things 3-4 times that God hates. I don't get it. All right. May God help us, man. In Jesus' name. Bye-bye.